think I've said it before on this show, but you really should not judge a book by its cover, and this is the second episode in this series where I actually did that at the start. I honestly thought in the first 5 minutes of this episode that it was going to be completely useless and crap, but I was so wrong about this episode. Let's get into it. Legends, welcome back to Queen's Age Media. I am Rodney Stewart. This is review on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This episode is called Creatures from the Tar Swamp. On the box it says Orko accidentally finds Skeletor and his evil comrades in the Tar Swamps. Using magic to resurrect dangerous beasts from eternity's past. With such power, he easily takes the royal palace, imprisoning most of the heroic warriors, and it is up to Orko to do some drastic magic. But will anything be the same again? I just realised in reading that back that my England skills are crap. Yes, I need to read more. But this episode, Prince Adam's cousin comes to visit, Lady Edwina, and Orko instantly falls in love with her, and he's doing his best to, impress her, and he's conjuring up little magic tricks to, make presents for her, but she's very, very spoilt young woman, and nothing's good enough for her, and, he conjures up this little box and she opens it and there's a wee amulet inside it, and she looks at it and she goes, unfortunately I didn't bring anything to wear that would go with this, and just kind of throws it back at him, sort of thing. And Prince Adam and Teela are like, Orko, come on, people, you can't buy friendship, forget it, and Adam actually decides that he's going to try and help Orko wooing the cousin, and he shares a story from his younger days, and this was where the episode started to get interesting for me, because it gives you a little bit of backstory, a little bit of an expansion on the characters. I love that sort of stuff, and this delves slightly into Orko's origins, and Prince Adam shares this story of him and Cringer getting lost whenever they were younger. So we have a flashback moment to Adam as a young boy, probably 7 or 8 years old at this point, and Cringer's barely more than a kitten in his arms, and they're out in the swamps, the tar swamps, and they've gotten lost in a storm, and the storm was so strong that it temporarily opened a dimensional window to another planet, and Orko came through, and Orko had this magic amulet with him that enhances his magic greatly, and he used that to save Adam and Cringer when they were younger, and that's when Orko was adopted into the royal family. So yes, we get that little bit of background that indeed Orko was not originally from Eternia, he's from another planet altogether. And back in present day, because that story has been shared, Orko has been reminded of his magic amulet that he lost in the swamp that day that he saved a young Prince Adam, and he decides to go looking for it, and of course runs into Skeletor, Evelyn and Beastman. They've got a new idea where they're going to resurrect creatures from Eternia's past that have died in the tar swamp. So we're going to get dinosaurs of some sort, and Orko gets captured by them, and yes, Skeletor does indeed manage to resurrect these prehistoric animals and launches an attack on the palace, and does manage to actually get the king to surrender, because this giant dinosaur beast is ready to level the whole place. And at this point, of course, that's cutting a lot out of the story. I don't want to be doing these reviews and just spoiling every last second of the episode for you. But before this, of course, He-Man did turn up along with Teela and Man-at-Arms to try and find Orko, and they had a little confrontation with Skeletor in the swamplands, but Skeletor managed to slip away, get to the palace, get the king to surrender his seat of power, and Skeletor has taken over the king and the queen and Orko, and the spoiled little niece are in the prison cells in the dungeons, and she's like, Orko, I thought you could do magic, like do something to get us out of here. And he casts a spell and actually manages to transport himself and her outside the palace, where they end up getting confronted by this giant dinosaur again. When He-Man turns up and saves them, Man-at-Arms and Teela manage to get into the palace, and they're trying to fight Beastman and Evelyn, and of course Skeletor is on the throne celebrating his success and defeating Randor. And by the end of the episode, we realise that when the Tar Beasts were resurrected, the magic amulet that Orko lost all those years ago is stuck to the back of one of the creatures, and he manages to actually get the amulet back in his hand, and the spoiled little niece is in the background. She's watching everything that's happening here, and she sees Orko has this amulet back, and he's able to do all this incredible magic. And before he can save his friends, she steps in, and she's like, do you know what? You can do anything you want. Use your magic to get us away from here, and we can have everything we ever wanted, and I'll be your very best friend, and all this sort of stuff. And for a moment, Orko is mesmerised by her beauty and her nice words, but he realises that, my friends were right. You're not interested in me, you're just interested in what this amulet can do for you. And he says, I wish none of this ever happened. And the amulet casts its spell and pretty much erases everything that's happened since she turned up. There's been no resurrection of beasts. Skeletor never made his attack on the palace, and unfortunately Orko never got his hands on the amulet again. Everything is reset to the beginning of the episode. But we all have the memories of it, and Orko at the end is been congratulated by the king and the queen for saving the palace and them. And the king turns his anger onto his niece, and he says, if until you can change your selfish ways, you're no longer welcome here. Just basically tells her to get out. So as she's leaving, Orko steps in, and again, like earlier in the episode, he conjures up a little box, a little gift for her, and Prince Adam and Teela are stunned. They're like, did Orko not learn a thing here? And the spoiled niece takes the box from Orko and is like, at least someone appreciates me. And she opens it up to see what sort of lovely gift that Orko has gotten for her, and it's pretty much a jack-in-the-box, and this monster's head pops out of it whenever she opens it and scares her, and she runs away. And Prince Adam's like, I think he learned the lesson very well. And then we all have a little laugh, and the episode closes out into the public service announcement in this one, and it is about friendship, true friendship, and the fact that you cannot buy friends. And if you do have to buy friends, these people aren't interested in you, they're just interested in what you can give them and what they can get from you. And a true friend will be your friend because of who you are, and just you being yourself. And yes, another fantastic little PSA at the end of this episode. And yes, that closes out the first 3 discs in this review series so far. I can't believe how quickly we're going through these. I am enjoying this box set immensely. So yes, again, just before we finish this episode, I want to once again say about the new Masters of the Universe Revelation series that's coming up. It's in production now by Netflix. Showrunner, producer Kevin Smith, Silent Bob himself. I'm a huge fan of his, and I've been following whatever little updates I can get on this, and it does actually sound like they're going to hit the nail on the head with this, you know. And it's not so much a reboot, but a spiritual sequel to this original 1983 series. So you need to go check this out if you're at all interested in this new series Revelation. And yes, definitely do that there, because I'm enjoying this so much. As a 40-year-old man at this point, you know, I watched this as a child coming home from early school days. I was only 83 when that first came out. I was born 79, so yes, I wasn't that old when this series originally aired. I can remember it being on TV, loved it then, and I love it even more now. So definitely go give it a look-see.